G'day everyone, welcome to Roo Hammer Season 3, Episode 16. And this is the last of our weekly breakdowns of the NRLW Season 2021. Obviously, we've just had the grand final, so we're going to be diving into that. Hammer, how are you, mate? All good?
Yeah, mate, I'm good. Mate, what a great weekend of footy. Mating in that awesome NRLW grand final. Edge of the seat stuff, mate, with both teams leaving everything out there on the field. Also to catch up with some of our friends Titans on Saturday. I went over to, is it Pizzey Park? To watch Georgia play and catch up with some of the girls. Yeah. Got to catch up with girls. Which was, and a couple of photos with some of the girls.
Yeah.
Congrats to Sydney Roosters and commiserations to the St George Illawarra Dragons. They had a fantastic season, mate, being the most consistent team all year. But the Roosters in their past 2 weeks have had renewed focus and really deserved that victory.
Yeah, that's right, mate. It was an amazing journey for the Roosters girls. 3 weekends ago, they were sitting at home in 5th spot with their season effectively over, and they were watching the final round 5 game against the Broncos and the Eels, and they seemingly needed a miracle, a 24-point win to the Broncos to even make the semis. So, and they got that lifeline, and then they've played 2 cracking games of footy in the past 2 weeks, and look, now they're the 2021 NRLW premiers. Mate, so let's get into that grand final breakdown, shall we? So it was a 16 points to 4 win by the Roosters over the Dragons. And Roosters tries to Meeks, Kelly and Higgins, and Tamara kicking 2 from 3. And the Dragons try to Maddie Bartlett right there at the start. Pearson missing with her only attempt. For the Dragons, Renee Targett and Keely Brown came onto the bench with Tegan Dimmick and Janelle Williams dropping off. And the Roosters, they stuck solid with no changes to their team. Olivia Higgins, she passed her fitness test on Saturday and was able to take her place in the team.
Yeah, mate. The Dragons kicked off right from the outset. They forced an error in the first set with a strong hit from Shaylee Banton. From that scrum, the Dragons shifted their left for Maddie Bartlett to her 2021 try-scoring tally for an early lead. And Maddie now top of the NRLW all-time try-scoring list with 9, a phenomenal achievement. Awesome. And from there, kind of thought that it was going to be a bit of a walkover from the Dragons, but the Roosters off the back of a relieving pen on the left side shifted their own. They went to Yasmin Meeks and Isabelle Kelly side, who created space for Bridie Parker, but unfortunately she put her foot into touch prior to scoring. And a few sets later, it was then Hannah Southwell and then Leanne Fuga who went close for the Roosters after the Dragons failed to defuse 2 kicks, which was kind of a bit of a concern. The first kick, not even contested, was allowed to bounce, and Southwell kind of jumped on that and went over the line. And then the second kick, a knock-on from...
Yeah, mate, an injury to Bridie Parker midway through the first half forced Yasmin Weeks onto the wing, and Taylor Fuimono with 10 in the bin as well for the tackle on Parker. The Roosters then activating their 18th player, so Joelle Morris, who moved onto the wing, allowing Meeks back to her left edge back row position. The Dragons, they did very well to hold the Roosters out with a player down as well, and to back their full complement, and got back to their full complement of players, I should say. They wasted little time in getting over the line through Keely Davis, but the bunker was ruled a knock-on in the lead-up. And the halftime score was 4-0 to the Dragons, but it was the Roosters who probably looked more dangerous of the two sides. Second half, mate, it was a tight contest. Both teams trading sets before the Roosters tied things up with a try to Yasmin Meeks and the conversion putting the Roosters ahead for the first time in the game.
Yeah, they looked like they were coming home with a wet sail too, the Chooks. And there was an unfortunate injury to Paige McGregor, which forced a backline reshuffle for the Dragons. And the Roosters really upped the tempo and really started building pressure on the Dragons. And they hit the front through a great individual brilliance from Isabelle Kelly, her high-intensity running. Once she gets to with the try line, mate, she's impossible. And a few minutes remaining, Olivia Higgins scored a great solo try after a massive run from Sarah Togatuki. Higgins was kind of standing 2 off the ruck, got the ball, shrugged off 3 defenders to score her maiden NRLW try and secure the NRLW premiership for the Roosters. So there was a little bit of controversy surrounding that try, though. Togatuki was still down receiving attention, I think it was, and the trainer kind of seemingly waving at the ref to pause the game, and the ref, which was Belinda Sharp, didn't. The Dragons kind of looked to drop off Higgins pretty easily, but, Liv doing the right thing there. She played to the whistle. Match winner for the Chooks.
That's right. That's what they tell you. Always play to the whistle. Looking at the stats for the match, it was the Dragons with the better completion rate, but they just weren't able to convert the possession into points, unfortunately for them. And it was the Roosters that had the better attacking stats. They had the 6 line breaks, 35 tackle breaks, but the telling factor was the Dragons with the 37 missed tackles, and you just can't miss that many tackles and expect a positive result. Jamie Soward, look, he must be pleased with the season, and if they can keep that majority of that squad together, mate, they'll be back as contenders for the 2022 season later in this year, no doubt.
It's interesting, the girls' contract stuff. Talking to a few of the girls and then listening to Millie Boyle on Matty Johns the other night. Their contracts are all short-term contracts, so they're effectively all off contract now and they'll renegotiate and re-sign. Which seems really, really weird and odd. It would be so much better if these girls could do like long-term contracts. They could sign, for seasons ahead, but at the moment they don't do that. So every single one of those girls played in the NRLW this season at all 6 clubs. They're all off contract and are free to go to whatever club they wish to go to. You would think that these two sides do try and lock up a majority of their 21 players, though. It'd be strange if they didn't. Not sure what the salary cap is for the women as well. I think it works out to be something like 25 grand or something to that effect. So the sooner these girls can become full-time professional, the better it is. Mate, just some performances from this game. Isabelle Kelly, another massive effort, 170 run meters, which took her to over 2,000 run meters for the season. Yes, Robbie, there is another season this year. They play, I think it'll kick off at around about round 23 of the NRL. They'll play the final 3 rounds in conjunction with the NRL comp, and then they'll be the curtain raisers for the semis, culminating in their grand final being on grand final day. The season that we've just seen in the NRLW was actually last season's competition, the 2021
due to COVID.
That was postponed. So all these girls now break camp, go and play either the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership or the BMD Premiership up in Queensland, and then they'll come together in a couple of months. But Izzy Kelly, over 2,000 run meters this season, first player to do so. I'm setting my review last week that would be Paramount Roosters winning, and she certainly didn't disappoint. Colby Baxter, mate, she was great at the back, always interested to diffuse the drag kicks, and she kicked return with energy and purpose. A sensational performance. She also made history. She became the only player in both NRL and NRLW to win a premiership on the. So, congratulations! Congratulations and happy birthday to Colby.
And well done, David Middleton here.
Sarah Togatuki, she was named the Karen Murphy medalist for the with her 161 run meters. Her constant work in the middle of the park. She took it to the Dragons middles, Kezzy Apps and Elsie Albert. She had a fantastic game. Mate, for me, the two standouts who probably don't get enough recognition were the edge-back rowers in Yazzie Meeks and Olivia Koenig. Mate, they both get a ton of work. They were instrumental in the Roosters' second half resurgence. Super impressed with Meeks. She was an outside back last year, predominantly wing. She's made the transition edge back rower, and she's really impressive work rate. A real standout of the season for me with her 3 tackles at 97% tackle efficiency in the grand final. That's massive. And then Liv Higgins, her work around the ruck was first rate, and she was rewarded for her efforts with a match-winning try. Liv's a bit of a late bloomer when it comes to rugby league. She's she served a great apprenticeship under New South Wales legend Kylie Hilder, and she had a really good first NRLW season, and she'll be one to watch in seasons to come. Emma Tonagato for the Dragons, a Dahlia medalist. She was with 206 run meters, solid defence at the back. Coming back to rugby league, she's made every post a winner and got better with each game. And I'm not sure where she plays now in terms of Harvey Norman Women's Premiership or BMD Cup, because she is a full-time professional athlete through the Aussie Rugby Sevens. I don't know if she goes back to them. But regardless, she'll be the New South Wales fullback for Origin in Canberra in a couple of weeks' time. And Jamie Chapman did well to control Jamie Chapman. She was the only back to run for over 100 metres. She worked really hard on her right edge defence and constantly went looking for work. And she looked the most likely to Dragons in that second half. And this was the thing that I spoke about in last week's game. The Roosters limiting the run meters of both Elsie Albert and Cassie Apps, both under 100 metres, both kept 80 metres actually. And that's really, for me, where the game was won. Albert has been instrumental in getting the Dragons good metres with her carries and then really quick balls that, she very rarely gets put on the ground. And if she does, it's always hands, knees, never on her back. That out of a game. And the Drag really struggled for metres. And then just comparison stat here, Zahara Tamara, 32 run metres doesn't look a lot, but when you're a halfback running into the line and then loading, it's significant amount of metres. And she took on the Dragons line, particularly in that second half. Rachel Pearson's been outstanding all season for the Dragons. She's been the form comp, but her big strength is her kicking game. And she did get plenty of kick metres, but the chase is good. Corbin Baxter's kick metres, and perhaps if they had better kick chase, it could have been a better result for the Dragons.
Mate, sensational analysis once again, mate. Fantastic. Player analysis, yeah, second to none. Some great scenes after the game too, and full credit to both teams because they hung around with the fans afterwards. Superb crowd, 7,400 fans at that game too, mate. And that was more than the 6,700 at the Warriors game on the Friday night. So well done to Redcliffe for getting out and supporting the game. And as we always say, this fantastic place to watch footy at Redcliffe. It's a fantastic little ground. We need to also congratulate our good friend and former Warrior, Karina Brown, on winning the Veronica White medal. Karina, she's been instrumental in the development of women's rugby league in Australia, and her work in the community with young girls to help create the pathways and opportunities has been rewarded with this prestigious award. And yeah, congratulations, Karina, well deserved. That's the past two Veronica White medalists being friends of Roo and Hammer as well, Georgia Hale and now Goosey. So there might be something in that. What do you reckon?
I reckon so, mate. I reckon if looking to win a White medal, they've got to become guests on Roo and Hammer.
It.
Absolutely.
So expressions of interest.
Absolutely, yeah. Massive honour for Goosey. I was fortunate to be able to congratulate her personally on Sunday, and mate, she was wrapped. She did say to me, she did point out to the field at the Roosters celebration. That's what I want. So still some fire in the belly there from Karina. So look forward to her representing the Titans again in the season. Mate, the WMs took place last week too as a standalone event, showing, the NRL really getting behind the NRLW. And we'll just run through a few awards that were handed out.
So the try of the year, and that was Shania Power's powerhouse effort and the Titans-Broncos game. We were there for this one. How good was this try? Shania scored. It was a great piece of individual brilliance. So many great tries scored in the competition this year, but that one was super special. I remember we said at the time it was almost like Gordon Tallis or Carl Webb just refusing to be tackled. It was just a powerhouse effort.
Yeah.
Tackle of the year, Emma Tonagato, the Dragons versus Roosters on a runaway. Jessica Surgis saving a certain try. Again, so many good hits this year. But that tackle on a runaway Jess Surgis, it saved the game for the Dragons that day and showed the brilliance of Tonagato. Well, just a scintillating covering tackle, that one.
Yeah, it did. It was, as you said, mate, so many good tries scored, so many great hits this year. And there can only be one winner. And they were two very, very special moments throughout the season. Howard, he was awarded Coach of the Year. I picked it last week, and I said, Jamie was really the only who could win this. He had the Dragons playing a really good, consistent brand of footy all through the NRLW season. He did a fantastic job in his first year of coaching. Not the happiest man in the world, though. Like, even before the game, when he walked up the stairs, he had that stern look on his face. So Jamie's got to learn to smile a little bit more, I think. But congratulations to him on his Coach of the Year award. And Brittany Brayley-Nartai. This was a tough one to pick when you go through the team captains. Both Corby Baxter and Kazi Apps from the Roosters and Dragons, respectively. They spent a few weeks on their sideline injury, so they were virtually excused from being nominated in that. Ali Briggs, Broncos. I thought she had a really quiet season. She's normally, that player you notice the most, but it was really quiet for the Broncos. For me, I thought Samaima Taufa was probably the outstanding choice for the Eels, and she was definitely my pick for Captain of the Year. But Brayley-Nartai, playing in a team that had 8 teenagers playing, all like 18 and 19-year-olds, she did a really good job in trying to maintain discipline and order, which we all know would have been a difficult task in some of those close games that the Titans had towards the back end of the season there.
Yes, absolutely. And the Dally M medalist, and as we know, it went to joint winners, Millie Boyle from the Broncos and Emma Tonagato from the Dragons. Mate, you said last week that the award could come down to these two, and the judges dead set couldn't split them. Boyle did miss one game through COVID, so you would assume if she plays that game, she probably wins the award outright. But Emma Tonagato are, thoroughly deserving of the award, and big congratulations to both these girls.
Yeah, fantastic, those two women, mate. They both had standout seasons, different reasons. Millie Boyle, the form front rower in the competition, and Emma Tonagato as all making every poster winner in her return to rugby league. So both New South Wales women too. So they'll be for the Blue come Origin this year. So yeah, that'll be good. It was weird that they didn't give an award to the highest point scorer and highest try scorer. I know they do that. For the record, just so everyone knows, Lauren Brown for the Broncos was the 2021 Dally M point scorer. I think she finished on 34 points. And the highest try scorer was Maddie Bartlett for the Dragons. She finished on 7.
I think it was 7.
6. Yeah.
Including the grand final
7.
try?
Including so prior to the grand final, she had 6. She got another one in the grand final, which puts her on the all-time list. And then in the season proper, she had the 5s. And then another interesting one on the men's Dally M, they always name the team of the season. They didn't do one for the women. So I've done one, which I will share with everyone. For me, I came Emma Tonagato as the fullback the year. On the wings, I had Emily Bass at the Broncos and Madison at the Dragons. The centres basically picked themselves. Jamie Chapman was outstanding for the Dragons, and Isabelle Kelly, who I thought, along with Tonagato and Millie Boyle, was probably the best player all season. Taryn Aitken from the Broncos at 5'8", Rachel Pearson from the Eels Dragons at halfback. And then we had Samaima Taufa from the Eels at lock. Absolutely outstanding for the Eels this year. 2 bowlers I picked. Amber Hall from the Broncos, who was a powerhouse for them. Yasmin Meeks, as I said, was the player that really impressed me the most this year, especially with the transition from wing from outside back to the back row. Front rowers, I picked Elsie Albert and Millie Boyle. They were, outstanding for their clubs this year. Lauren Brown, and then I picked Jessica Elliston as my interchange player from the Titans. She standing for the Titans this year. Doesn't get a lot of raps, but was the only Titans forward to average 100 metres a game, and really changed the way the game was played whenever she came on for the Titans. So that, mate, would be my Dally M team of the year. for the NRLW 2021.
Fantastic. There you go, guys. That is the 2021 NRLW season done and dusted. What an enjoyable ride it's been. Guys, don't forget, we do have our Wednesday live show tomorrow night where we're going to be talking all things Warriors. I've seen a few comments coming through, so we can bring all of that up tomorrow night. We'll be looking at the Warriors round 5 victory over the Cowboys, and we'll also recap the full round of the NRL and preview round 6. And thanks, everyone, for joining us for these NRL breakdown shows.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got the Wednesday night shows continuing now. Obviously, tomorrow night we review the Cowboys game. Next week, Wednesday, we'll be following on with that with the Roosters. And we're going to try and get some of those interviews that you all like so much happening on a Tuesday. Won't be every Tuesday, but every couple of Tuesdays we're going to do a mix and match. We've got a couple of the girls from the NRLW lined up to bring them on, which will be an interesting chat to talk about their journeys and how they've got into rugby league. And, of course, we've got a couple of our ex-Warriors and current Warriors lined up to jump in. The first one of those will be Robbie Reyes, who we're going to try and get on in a couple of weeks. Robbie Reyes, Hammer, do you like the heritage jersey? I love the heritage jersey, mate. That's
how can you not like it?
Yeah, it reminds us of a great period, an iconic period in Warriors history. The success of the 2001 side making the semis, 2002 making the grand final, 2003 we fell one game short of a grand final. Those 3 seasons were, some of the best seasons of Warriors footy. I love the jersey, mate. I think it's a great concept, a great design. And we'll talk about it more tomorrow night, but I'm really pleased that the Roosters have agreed to wear a white jersey in this game on the weekend as well, similar to what they wore in the grand final. So really getting into the spirit of that 20 year, isn't it? 20 year.
20 years is crazy.
Yeah.
Let's just hope for a different result this time round, eh?
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely need a different result. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to tune in tomorrow night 7:30 for our Warriors review.
Yep.
Everyone stay safe. Go the Warriors.
Stay safe.